Hello, and welcome to this overview on the Institute for Civility. So glad you could join us today. Feel free to reach out in the chat as we go through this presentation. The goal is to let you know all about the Institute and what we have to offer. Our mission at the Institute for Civility is to reduce polarization by facilitating dialogue, teaching respect, and building civility in both public and private spheres. We are a nonprofit 501c3 organization with 28 years of history teaching civility. So today we hope that you will become familiar with the Institute, learn about our programs, learn how to get involved, and finally, spread civility. And if you have some special things that you want to learn about the Institute today, feel free to go ahead and put those in the chat and let us know what those are. And if those questions don't get answered as we go through, feel free to make sure we answer those. We want to make sure you walk away with all the information you need. So first, the first question is, what is civility? Civility is more than just politeness. Older ideas about civility focused on manners and polite behavior rather than understanding or dialogue. This often caused people to misunderstand civility and how to deal with it and their differences in constructive ways. So, civility isn't fake politeness that hides real feelings that can cause resentment or hide your true intentions. We never want civility to be used to silence or oppress anyone, or to avoid accountability or hide uncomfortable truths. And especially, we don't want to use civility as an excuse to disregard arguments just based on the way that they were said. The Institute for Civility defines civility as claiming and caring for one's identity, needs, and beliefs without degrading someone else's in the process. So, some of our programs, sorry, I keep jumping my screen around. I've got to pick a side, right? Some of our programs include our DC student legislative seminars, our congressional student forums, our civility training, and we offer internships and volunteering. And we are supported by our members. So we ask that you consider becoming a member today, if you're not already. Okay, to begin with, this is our flagship program. This is so exciting. Our DC student legislative seminars are life-changing and transformative for the students that participate. Who do we take on our student legislative seminars? Any interested group. It's typically a small group, max of about 15 people and 2 chaperones as needed. If it's an adult group, we don't need chaperones. Minimum size of our groups needs to be about 10 students, and we encourage you to have 3 backup students. Schools choose which students attend these trips. and it's a fully customizable trip. It's about 5 or 6 days long. The dates are flexible, and the location is Washington, D.C. Where do we go? All right, this is not a comprehensive list of all the places that we go, but this is a quick overview of some of the places that we find ourselves at in DC. And we frequently add in other little stops here and there. But like I said, this is not a completely exhaustive list, but these are places that we often go, including the National Museum of African American Heritage and Culture, the National Holocaust Museum, the National Mall, the Washington Monument, the Lincoln Memorial. All of these places are priorities on our trips. Now, the best part is that we pursue grant funding alongside groups to make this accessible for all students. As I mentioned at the beginning, we are a 501c3 nonprofit organization eligible for tax deductible gifts and grant funding. So we have many different funders, including Texas City Rotary Club. They fund a trip. The Trull Foundation funds another trip. Gulf Coast Medical Foundation funds a trip for us, and our members help make all of our trips possible. What's the cost? $2,500 per person. This is a fee also for facilitators and chaperones. So, what's different about our trip? We visit all those typical monuments and museums and so much more. But here's what's different: our process. Students collectively choose 3 topics. They receive briefings in DC from experts. We work with them to craft a civil, respectful statement to present their perspective to their representatives and their Senate staffers. Here's a quick picture of our students receiving briefings in DC. We do our absolute best to find unbiased experts from organizations such as the Bipartisan Policy Center. Here you can see students are receiving a briefing on Border Patrol and ICE. I just wanted to share a short clip from one of our briefings in DC. I feel like these are so impressive and really express what these students are learning. They through kind of systemic, so if you can really clearly, then you are much better equipped to really. I don't know if the sound was good on that one, but it was a little quiet. But she's explaining the value of policy change to resolve issues. And so, one in 3 U.S. adults are impacted by issues. 44% teenagers, and that percent just minorly that count adults. And so, how do we use things like digital tools? And there you're hearing about healthcare, rural healthcare, especially. Our students really wanted to learn about how they could do better and experience more local healthcare for themselves and their whole communities. All right, here's some images of our students crafting their statements. We only have about 2 evenings to work on crafting these statements. The statements are brief, they're short, they're about under 3 minutes long, and we practice this presentation with them repeatedly, teaching them how to have the presence and the skills to project their voices, to make sure they're being heard, and to try to express with the utmost respect what their wishes are. Here is a final product from one group of students.
One. Rolling in three, two.
We believe there should be a permanent ceasefire with Israel and Hamas. Every day, innocent civilians in Gaza fear for their lives due to threats of bombing and the withholding of crucial resources. Imagine 4 affected children have the opportunity to take go to school and return to their families with warm clothes and food in the security of their own homes. We have a different plan that can make this reality.
We believe starting with aggressive negotiations involving hostages, resources, and possibly a nuclearly demilitarized zone is a good starting point for peace.
Second, we believe both Israel and Palestine should have unbiased media coverages over the events taking place in Gaza. Lastly, reallocating a portion of the U.S. military funding for Israel to humanitarian groups and peace activists will help in stabilizing the conflict.
We understand that these issues take time and are very complex, but we are trying to make a step towards the dream of war and peace.
Now, these statements are 100% crafted by the students, informed by their briefings that they had from experts on those topics. And we work with them to choose the right wording to get their message across. And here we have some images of students presenting statements. We've got Congressman Randy Weber in some of these images, listening to students, talking with them, giving his feedback on their statements. In the center image, we've got 2 Senate staffers. You can see the back of their heads right here. And the Senate staffers are in Ted Cruz's office, and they are listening to students go around the table and share their statements, just like you saw that last group do. All right, so what are the differences with our DC trips, our student legislative seminars, versus some of the other DC trips that might be out there? First, we have a small group size. The students choose the topics. Experts brief them. The students craft statements, and they learn how to present to Congresspeople and Senate staffers, which can be really intimidating. Adults struggle with this. Public speaking is one of the most scary things for people out there. And we work with these students very closely to make sure that they have the confidence to present their perspective and to own their own words. What else do we do? Students use public transit. And in the end, students walk away with confidence, independence, and a huge sense of civic responsibility. I just had to share a few photos because it's not all work. When there's time for extra fun, we make that happen. And right here on the left, you'll see this picture of students making a snow person, which was super exciting for me from the north to be able to teach students from Texas how to make a snow person. They had no idea. And then the snow came, and it may have been the first time many of them saw snow in their lives. Here in the middle, we've got students at the Capitol Building Visitor Center in front of a replica of the Statue of Freedom. The original sits on top of the Capitol Building. And on the right, we've got an image of the Library of Congress. Just an absolutely incredible building. Lots of students enjoy getting their library cards there, which is a really cool souvenir and really inspiring to think that they can go in there and use the library as anyone else would. The architecture of DC is incredible. This is me on the right. Just had to get this photo of this subway architecture. Here in the middle, we've got students reading a newspaper from the 1800s. It's so exciting to see the students get inspired and thrilled, and and pay attention to little details and learn an entirely new perspective on the world. Here on the left, we've got students with their senator, Ted Cruz. They had this rare opportunity to meet him. We were waiting outside the office to speak with his staffers, and he just happened through the hallway, and everybody got all excited and ended up, he was super friendly and jovial and talked with them all, shook all their hands, and took the time to take a photo with them. So our capacity, what can we do? We have the ability to add up to 9 trips in 2027. Things that we think about with scheduling are seasonal weather, the congressional calendar, and then the fact that many groups want to go during the exact same time. So it's really important to try to plan in advance. And right now, we're starting to schedule for 2027, springtime. Let us know if you know a group that would like to go. Just an inspiring quote here. Civility costs nothing and buys everything. Okay, we've talked about our DC student legislative seminars. Let's go on to discuss our congressional student forums. Our congressional student forums include 1 Democratic congressperson, 1 Republican congressperson. We've got unfiltered student Q&A, and we've opened this up to state legislators, which is awesome. We have had a couple who have been interested in doing it. We just have to get a venue, 1 step at a time. And universities and colleges host the forum. Here are 2 representatives who had a forum together in the past, Representative Sylvia Garcia and Representative Randy Weber, both of Texas. And here's a list of some of the past congressional student forums that we have held, which you can find a comprehensive list of on our website. And moving on to our customized civility training. Here's just a small snippet of what some of our training looks like. Number 1, do not personalize other people's content. Turn your attention away from that surface content and try to identify the other person's underlying need. Ask yourself, what are they really asking for? What are they really feeling? And how can I make sure that they feel heard and understood? A lot of times that's all that we want. It's just to be understood. And oftentimes that comes out in ways that isn't so clear and not so easy to understand. Another civility skill, listen to understand and reflect what you've heard to connect with that person. Don't defend your position or respond. Just try to understand what they're saying. And you see this little pug puppy in the corner here. He sees his reflection. And so we're trying to focus on reflecting exactly what we hear. Listen all the way through, breathe, think, and try to understand. You can ask them things like, I want to make sure I heard you. What I think you're saying is this. Try to use their exact words. Don't interpret, reflect exactly what they've said. And sometimes, especially when people are a little more timid or gentle, you really need to ask, did I get it right? Is there anything else? And thank them for sharing how they feel. And sometimes they're not in a position to hear what you have to say yet. And so it's important to be aware of that and be prepared to not say your piece at this time. It might mean that you have to wait and talk about your perspective later. Civility skill number 3. Speak from self, not about others. Represent your own feelings, opinions, beliefs. Use I statements. In my experience, what I feel, what I think, what I know about is my perspective. It's also important to recognize complexity and bias. Human beings are never one single story. We are multifaceted and multidimensional. So it's important to recognize that we may have obvious, explicit bias or implicit bias, those unconscious, discrete communications that simply other people. So, along those lines, have you ever learned something you didn't expect about a person? I like to share the story of a coworker I had, and I sat next to them every day, but I was their leader. And we were doing a quarterly review of their performance and looking at their future hopes and dreams. And I asked them, "Hey, what's your future look like? What are your hopes? What are you looking forward to doing in the future in this organization?" And their plan was they wanted to stay with that organization for the rest of their lives. They wanted to grow in their leadership skills, and they wanted to become better and stronger within that organization. And this was a huge shock to me. But it was because I had this implicit bias, right? Where this person was kind of quiet and I didn't perceive them as a leader because they were quiet. And so I learned right then and there that I had prejudged them and that I had expectations for their future that were totally misaligned with what their expectations for their own future were. I learned that quiet people can be leaders too. And it's not my place to decide how they progress or what a leader looks like. It's important to recognize that incivility can become harmful. If it's persistent, threatening, discriminatory, emotionally damaging, we need to document those incidents, seek formal support, consider counseling, make sure that we are staying true to ourselves and not absorbing their behavior as our identity. Here's a handful of our applied civility skills. Just wanted to give you a small taste of what our civility training looks like, and this also is fully customizable. This is content that we can work to touch on topics that are needed in your organization. Okay, internships and volunteering. We have had an amazing experience with interns who have provided us with fantastic opportunities to connect with new organizations, new groups, new spaces. And that's part of spreading civility. Civility is based on trust primarily. And when we bring in interns who have relationships in different spaces and volunteers who have relationships in different spaces, those people add so much value to our organization because they open us up to their networks And that's exactly what we need. We need that introduction to help us spread our work. So, current needs, we need a social media intern, a web development intern, a marketing intern. We're looking for a shop manager. Also, we like to say if you don't see an internship right here that meets your needs, and you have a skill set that you would like to bring to the table that you have to offer for us, we are absolutely open to you doing what you're passionate about to help us. Currently, we have 4 different interns who are doing awesome things. This intern spotlight on the right-hand side here, Sasha. Sasha is a program support intern. She is creating a podcast for us. She's made the first couple of episodes. We haven't launched it yet, but we're waiting until we have a few more episodes created so that we can launch. Now, Sasha went to University of California, Santa Barbara, and she is working toward getting into law school right now. Brenda Tacita is a graduate of Northern Illinois University, and she was our first intern to attend a student legislative seminar in DC, which was a fantastic opportunity both for her and for the students involved. The students involved were so inspired by her, and Brenda is just a phenomenal person. She is also on track to go to law school. Jacqueline Solis, another graduate of Northern Illinois University. She is headed to law school at Northern Illinois University College of Law this fall, starting in just another week or so. And Jacqueline has been an amazing asset trying to connect us with her local community in Rockford, Illinois. She's done lots of outreach for us, trying to build relationships with schools that she has relationships with so that we can get those schools to go on a DC legislative seminar. Finally, Jordan Sawadsky. Jordan is in school in undergrad right now at the University of Wisconsin Parkside, and he has just begun his internship with us a couple weeks ago, and he has decided to pursue working on getting a congressional student forum to happen at his school, which is great. That narrow focus will be very successful for him. He's already got the school on board, and he's had outreach to lots of representatives in his region, and we're looking forward to seeing what Jordan can make happen this coming spring with a congressional student forum. Okay, finally, our membership. Members help sustain our operations. Right now, our memberships are just $25 a year. Members receive our quarterly newsletter. We offer free trainings occasionally that you can sign up for online, and you can sign up to be a member on our website at the instituteforcivility.org. Okay, so I hope by now you're familiar with the Institute. You have an idea of our programs. Those programs include our DC student legislative seminars, our congressional student forums, our civility training, and our internship and volunteering programs, and finally, our membership, which is what holds us together and gives us the strength that we have to offer all of these amazing programs. And here's just one of my favorite quotes from Maya Angelou. Do the best you can until you know better. Then when you know better, do better. And I will open it up to questions. If there are any questions, I am eager to hear those. We'd love for you to become a member today. We'd love to work more with you. We'd love to come talk to any group to share about what we do. If you have a Kiwanis group or a Rotary group or any type of group, we'd be thrilled to come share more about what we do so that you can help us do it. Thank you so much for coming today.
So, Carolyn, can you hear me?
I can.